What's up guys, and welcome back to a brand new video and a brand new episode of my F1 2017 career mode, and we are here for the beginning of the second half of the season in season 3. As you can see, a couple of upgrades getting applied to the car for this race. Crucially, one of the engine upgrade, which is going to be a big hopefully boost in performance for us. But we're here at the Hungary, a track that I sort of like, and it's one of I've been alright in the past. However, going into Friday practice, we did have a few issues coming into the session, and you'll see that in the moment on screen as soon as we switch over to the cockpit view. But Jeff just confirms over the radio, and it's a bit of a weird issue, the first time in this career mode.
Sit rep, we've got a leak in the hydraulic system, so it's going to be a few minutes before we can get you out on track.
So, a very weird issue there, but hopefully it won't affect us too badly. I think we are going to be able to basically get through the practice programs in time in this FP1 session. But before we jump into the video, guys, we can smash 250 likes on this. That would be absolutely fantastic, because I'll bring out the next episode tomorrow. You would have seen in the last few days on the channel, I've been doing a few daily uploads, so it would be nice to keep on just constantly getting the feedback on the channel, keeping the interaction going, and hopefully you guys are keeping interested. And also I want to try and push a few more uploads and try and go for daily for a little while and see how that goes, because I've got a bit more spare time now due to a few things changing in my life. So I've got a bit of time to dedicate to videos now, so I want to try and put it to good use, and hopefully you guys can support me with that and try and smash the likes and also just the comment section in every single video to try and push this channel forward. But as you can see, now I'm just coming towards the end of the Friday practice session, and pretty much smashing most of the practice programs with the exception of a few green ones here and there. But we get a purple in the race strategy, and a very good end to the practice sessions, getting a very solid amount of resource points for us, and we'll take those, thank you very much, and put them in the bank for future races. But as you can see, going into qualifying here, I'm switching over to component 2. I was using component 3. I forgot to basically use component 2 before practice, so instead I basically inverted my engine. How shall I explain? My engine, the way of using my engine components, I've basically inverted it. So we're going to run the Warner engine component 2 for this entire remaining part of the race weekend now, and basically not kill it, but we're going to use most of its competitive performance out of it this weekend. So we're going to basically be saying goodbye to this power unit once this race weekend is over. But as you can see, we're now jumping into qualifying on Saturday, and a few setup tweaks, and also a little bit down on engine power after switching back to a slightly more worn engine. And if we go P2 in Q1 for the time being. Eventually though, once the session would end, people would improve their lap times. However, we would get P4, so not too shabby there to kick off Saturday qualifying as we now move into Q2. And the rain made its presence felt actually, and it was raining very hard at the start of the Q2 session, and it actually eased off as the session went on. So that's why I went out very late in the session, and we managed to bag ourselves a P4 at the time of crossing the line. Eventually though, once the session would end, we would finish the session up in a pretty good position, because we did go for a second attempt, because the first one, even though it was P4 as the flag dropped, we did like I said, the track was drying up and it's constantly evolving, so we had to go out for another lap here, and you can see I'm constantly improving on my lap, and I've dropped down to P9 by the time we come through the final corner here, and it would be actually P10 if we cross the line. So luckily we put in another attempt, and like I said, we do get comfortably through on our best attempt and final attempt of the session, this time confirming the 4th place, and having to go on our second attempt due to the track just evolving very quickly there. But as you can see, Ocon gets through in 8th place, and Vettel leads the way in Q2. But this means that we are going to have free choice of tyre to start the race tomorrow, which is going to make things very interesting strategy wise. But as you can see, jumping into Q3 now, we're going to run a board from our best lap of the session, and for a lap of the Hungarian here, into turn 1, you want to brake just before the 50-meter ball down to 3rd gear. I missed my apex slightly, so that's not the best line you want to take. However, you can get away with missing the apex and running a wider line if you can dare to pick up the traction early and get the DRS open as soon as possible. As we now go into turn 3 here, 4th gear corner, you can use third. I prefer 4th because it gives me better drive on the exit, and then flat out through turn 4 as we now go across the first sector split into turn 5, which is a blind over left hand crest, and I'm not too bad there. 2 tenths up in the first sector, Sebastian Vettel, but that lap is not really particularly a great lap for Vettel, as the track was still a bit damp in the first part of Q3. So this is basically the driest point on the track now, and we've got to make full use of it as we now go well into the middle sector now, through these sort of swooping bends, which is the best part of the track in my opinion. We get it all hooked up. I went a little bit too wide there, pushing the track limits to a bit of an extreme as we now go through this very swooping high speed right hand across the second sector split, and we're only a couple of tenths down on Rock in the middle sector here, so not too bad so far. I don't think it's going to be pole, but we can challenge maybe a top 5 finish if we get it hooked up in this final 2 corners of the lap. If we get a nice run through the penultimate corner, traction on very early, nice bit of just rear traction out of that corner as we now go through the final corner, 4th gear, and then short shift to 5th, open up the DRS, run it to the line as much speed as possible, and across the line, what is it going to be? for the Hungarian is going to be a P6, so not too bad actually. So 6th place qualifying. I was looking for a top 5 like I said, but I'll take P6 and a good result, especially because I think, yes we do, we beat our teammate Esteban Ocon there, so not too bad. Solid qualifying. Raikkonen takes pole in Hungary ahead of Valtteri Bottas, his fellow countryman, and Hamilton and Ricciardo in 3rd and 4th. But we're going to start on the 3rd row of the grid, and hopefully we can have a good start tomorrow in the race, and also a free tyre strategy to keep in mind. So that's about it for qualifying, and we're now going to move into Sunday for round number 11 of the season for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Okay, so race day and the second half of the season starts here, so to speak, with this race, and big pressure this race because we've got to try and get a result here today, and I want to try and maintain my championship lead. I believe Raikkonen starts on pole, so he's going to be our championship rival, and he's also just my rival as a whole. So Raikkonen is the man we've got to beat, which is going to be a very tall order. So we could go for a couple of different strategy variants, but before that, in terms of obviously the race itself, obviously P5, I'm looking pretty I'm feeling pretty confident, you know, the overall pace of the car based on qualifying, it does suggest that we are lacking a couple of tenths, but that was the same thing that happened to us in Silverstone and in Austria, so I'm not too concerned in that regard. We always seem to have a little bit more race pace than qualifying pace, so hopefully we can still pull one out of the bag and get a good result. Like I said, we want to try beat Raikkonen, if not then do some damage limitation, so that's going to be interesting in itself. But in terms of the race strategy here today, as you can see, we've got suggested a one stop onto the mediums, and I've put the fuel pretty much marginal to 35 laps. However, I am looking at the strategy below here and maybe try and be an aggressive this race, because I really feel like I might push the car today. We are using the second power unit, which is pretty worn, so I feel like we might push the car a little bit to its limits and see what we can get out of it. So with that in mind, I think the strategy is going to be pretty damn straightforward if you ask me, and I would like the one stop, but then again we are going to have to save some tyres, so I think I'm going to lean towards just pushing basically to the absolute max, and hopefully that will pay off for us, and we can have a little bit of fun for a change. Instead of qualifying on the opposite tyre, we can just go flat out on the fastest compounds available. So with that being said, we are going to jump into the race now, and hopefully we can have a good start and see what sort of damage we can do into turn 1. So let's jump straight into the race. Right then, here we go on the grid. We're going to gear up to the 5 red lights for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go. Let's try and have a good start here. Pretty good initial launch actually. Very good second phase of the start. And we're going to get boxed in here behind Verstappen and Vettel. And we're going to have to try and find a gap somewhere on the track to get past. Meanwhile, Seb on mediums off to an incredible start. We've got Hamilton on soft compound tyres. Verstappen also on super softs just like me. And 3 wide up ahead between these guys. And I've actually had a pretty poor start, losing a bit of time here. So we've got to try and recover. Bottas is into the lead of the race. I can see Raikkonen is on soft, so I think Verstappen and myself are the only people on the super soft compound tyres as we get past, or should I say side by side with Lewis Hamilton. We are going to try and pull in front, but it's no use. Seb and Verstappen are going side by side. We're going to have to take the wide line and just back out of it so we don't get a legal overtake. Up the inside of Verstappen now through here. Let's try and pick up the traction. Can we stay side by side with Verstappen into the brake zone and overtake him into the chicane? Let's try and go for it. There we go. Nice move. Sebastian Vettel though on the medium compound tyres. Fantastic start. And he's up into 3rd place. A really, really good start from the German there. But we are now the highest placed super soft runner. So we've got to try and put these tyres to good use and try and get past some of these guys. So let's get the hammer down and hunt them down. Okay, so I've got the pace on this tyre. Sebastian is quick to say he's in the medium, but he's obviously slower than what I am. I'm also pulling away from Verstappen quite a bit, so I'm the man on the move at the moment, and I've got to really make this tyre work. Also, I'm considering a strategy switch onto a set of softs instead of supers, and then going onto the supers eventually at the end, because if Seb is starting on mediums, then he's probably going to go into supers in the final stint. So to sort of remedy that and be a bit more level on the pace, I want to try and be in the same tyre as Sebastian, so therefore we're going to have to go, I think, softs now and then supers at the end to just to be on sync with tyre strategy with him. So we'll probably go for that, but I really need to get past Sebastian now to really get these tyres switched on and make them work. So DRS is now enabled, so let's try and have a good run through the final corner here and try and set ourselves up for a move on Sebastian. I will use a little bit of rich mix here to try and make the move because we can't waste any time behind him. So here we go in the slipstream, DRS wide open into turn 1. Do I go for the dive? Let's have a look. We're going to go for it on the brakes fairly comfortably, to be fair, and it's going to take the inside line. Sebastian's going to hold it on the outside, but I've got DRS, and there we go. We've got past Vettel, so we can now get on our way and chase after Raikkonen and Valtteri, who are both on soft compound tyres. Right, still lapping very good on these tyres, 21 flat, and Raikkonen's making the move on Bottas, so we've got to get the hammer down here whilst those two battle on track. Raikkonen really setting the pace at the moment. I'll do another personal best. Raikkonen's about a half second faster than me, but that's not too bad. Pace is really good. I'm catching Bottas here, so this is very, very encouraging at the moment. Tyre also is pretty good. Now, I'm going to stick to the 2-stop for now. However, there is an outside opportunity here that I could maybe pull off a 1-stop doing a super soft. That will be very ballsy. I will have to get to about lap 15 on these tyres, but if I can make it work, I'm definitely going to try and go for it. So I'm going to keep one eye on the tyre wear whilst we continue cracking on here after Bottas, because if I can pull that strategy off, that's going to really set me up nicely for the race win here, or at least having a good go at it anyway. Right, so I've just started to drop off on the pace a little bit. My lap times haven't really improved that badly. It's just that AI have sort of stepped up a little bit. So I can't really match that step up in pace. So we're going to come in here and serve my first stop of the race. So we're going to come in for these soft compound tyres, and hopefully that works out for us. We're going to go for a bit of a different strategy, and hopefully it's the right one. We shouldn't get held up in the pits by anyone. So there we go, on our way, 2.1, just missing the release paddle slightly there, which cost us about a couple of tenths, unfortunately. But still, we're going to go on our way. Hopefully we can push on here and try and have a good middle stint in the race. So let's try and get up to speed now. Hopefully we don't get into too much traffic and we can just get ahead of Massa. That'd be critical for us. So there we go, we're just going to come out ahead of him. Meanwhile, I think Ocon's making a move up the inside of Felipe, but still, we're out in semi-clear air. Hopefully some of these guys get out of the way at the end of the lap, but we've got to crack on down this tyre and make it work. So let's push on and try and undercut Valtteri Bottas. Oh, Sainz has gone wide there with Ricciardo just slipping by. I'm going to slip by Sainz as well. So there we go. We're not going to lose too much time with that. And hopefully now we can DRS past Ricciardo down the pit straight, unless he comes into the pit lane, which he isn't going to do. So let's try and set ourselves up for an overtake on the Honey Badger here. At the final corner, I don't think I'm going to need rich mix. I've just got enough with DRS, to be honest, even though Ricciardo is actually pulling away, to be fair. So I'm going to nip into the rich mix a little bit just to try and save myself. And can we get him on the brakes on fresh tyres? Yes, we can, absolutely. There we go, nice and easy into turn 1, lovely jubbly. So we've got past Ricciardo, now we've got to keep on pushing here because these laps are now really critical. Right, good pace, low 20s, very good pace. Vettel's just up the road 3.4. I think he's had an issue because he was right in the mix a few laps ago, so something's happened to Sebastian. But either way, I'm not going to complain. So that's one guy less that's going to challenge us this race, hopefully. I mean, he's still technically in net position ahead of me, so I've got to pass him, but still, he's on mediums and I'm doing pretty good lap times on these tyres. So if we keep it up this way, I think we'll pass him fairly soon. But the question is, are we doing enough to get past Valtteri Bottas? So I guess we'll find out in a couple of laps' time. Right, so we've got a few cars in the pit lane in the form of Max Verstappen, and the question is, who is the other one? That's Lewis Hamilton, so they're comfortably ahead of them, but I'm expecting Bottas in this lap, hopefully. Right, here's Bottas exiting the pit lane right now. Lewis is the man on the charge. We've comfortably undercut Bottas, but now Hamilton is the man attacking us on super softs. Bottas, though, on medium, so split strategies at Mercedes. Bottas going to the end of the race on that tyre, so this is very mixed up. I do feel like I'm on the back foot strategy-wise, but I also feel like we've got the most tyre wear out of anybody in the top 5, which is a slight concern. So we're going to have to commit now to this 2-stop strategy, and hopefully the super softs at the end, even though they're not fresh, they're actually scrub. They give me the grip that I need to recover through the field, because I think I'm going to need it, to be honest. Alright, Ocon's out of the race. Great, that's another retirement. That was not what was in the script. And oh, I think we got a safety car from it as well. So, right, VSC, okay, no mind. I was going to say, I thought it was a safety car for a second. We're going to save a little bit of fuel, and we're going to try and use some rich mix with this old engine, hopefully later on down the line. But we're just going to save a bit of fuel, and then hopefully with the VSC we can sort of pull away from Hamilton a little bit. Right, I've had a terrible restart under the VSC, and here comes Lewis Hamilton. I've not left him much room, to be fair, but here we go, side by side into the first corner. I'm just going to take the inside line, and that should see him hopefully nice and widely squeezed. So there we go. We stay ahead of Lewis Hamilton for now, but just wasn't really aware that he was on my outside that quickly. So luckily, no damage I don't think to any of us. But for now, we're going to continue on our way. Lewis is going to keep on pressuring me, I think. So we've got to try and defend our position at the moment. Right, on to lap number 19. Lewis Hamilton, DRS wide open. I've got pretty worn engine. I'm going to fight him a little bit, but I'm not going to push him too hard because at the end of the day, his tyres are pretty damn fresh and he's got some good pace. However, I've gone around the outside, pretty easily around the outside of turn 1, to be fair. So we are going to stay ahead of Lewis for now. I think he might go for a lunge into turn 3. Not quite. Okay, so we're going to stay ahead for maybe one more lap, but Lewis is definitely piling on the pressure at the moment. Right, once again, Lewis is going to try and go for the move here. This time he's got a huge run on me, a lot more momentum, and this time he's made the move fairly comfortably way before the first corner here. We've also got Bottas on my outside, so we've got to try and defend from both Mercedes. I've actually run a little bit deep into turn 1, a little bit of wall banging with Lewis Hamilton here, but Lewis does eventually get his nose in front, and he's going to take third place. So hopefully he can hunt down Sebastian Vettel, cause him a few problems, because I certainly can't at the moment. But we now got Bottas behind on the fresh mediums. Now the question is, will he have the pace to get past me? I mean, the medium tyres are fresh, so he's going to have a pace advantage as he tries to go around the outside. I'm going to squeeze him out though. I'm having absolutely none of it, not around that corner anyway. So just going to force Bottas out. We're going to have to basically recover the entire pit stop on Valtteri. I'm expected to pit around 5 laps time, so Let's see how this all unfolds right now, but I'm starting to lose faith that we might even not get the podium in this race, which is slightly disheartening, but at the same time we've had a good run of races, so I'm not too worried. Right now it's time for the other Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas. I am struggling, my turbocharger is over 76% wear, so we are pretty worn on the turbocharger, which is making my power output very, very poor down the straights. But we are going to defend from Bottas here for a little bit longer as we just go around the outside of turn 1. It seems to be like we've got a little bit more grip around the outside line than on the inside line, but we are going to stay ahead of Valtteri for one more lap. But it's not going to be for long, I don't think, because Valtteri does have some very good pace. Oh, we've got a yellow flag up ahead, and I think someone's out of the race here, and it's that's Nico Hülkenberg who's out. So Hülkenberg out the Hungarian Grand Prix, so that's one car less in this race, but no safety car from what I can see that has been triggered from it. Right, Bottas once again is going to try and go for the move. He's got a huge run of momentum this time though. He's actually going for the outside line. Can we match him on the brakes? Oh, I'm going to stick my nose in. He's still there on my outside. I'm going to try and get the power down. This time I've got the unfavoured inside line, and he's just going to open up DRS and make the move there. So Bottas now up into P4, so he makes the move. So we're now going to be down to P5, and we're surrounded by medium tyre runners, interestingly enough. Now the question is, can we finish the race in this position? Because P5 is going to be where we're at. We still got to do one more stop here. I don't know what the other guys around me are doing, but we've got to do one more stop this race. So hopefully we can finish the race in this position, if not get something else out of the race, because I think Hamilton might have to stop as well. So even still, we are a little bit far behind. So I'm going to basically be depending on a safety car here or a VSC from our stop. Right, Seb in the pit lane for his final stop of the race. He's first and final. He's going to the super soft compound tyres. I'm probably going to pit at the end of this lap. I might come in a little bit earlier, because if Seb's going to supers that early, then it means that the tyres do last that long. So we'll come in this lap for super soft tyres, and that'll be our last stop of the race. Right, into the pit lane here. We're going to make this the final stop of the race, just pushing the pit entry as much as I can. Hopefully it's a nice, quick and efficient stop here. Get it all slowed down for the limiter, and there we go. Not too bad of an entry now. There's Verstappen. I might even finish P6 this race, to be honest, because we're in no man's land at the moment, so I need a safety car or something to happen to make this race interesting for me. But there we are. We are in 6th place. Grosjean is the next man, but I don't think he's anywhere near me. So right now we can finish the race exactly where we are. So we need something to happen in the top 5, or yeah, top 5 to have anything out of this race. So I'm just going to push as hard as I can on these tyres. They're not new, they're scrub, which is not ideal, but they're only 4% worn, so it's not too bad. My major concern, as you just saw there, I'll just bring it back up on screen if I forget to not skip through it. There we go. My concern is the engine. So the turbocharger, 77%, really struggling for power output, to be honest. You can really notice that I'm just not getting the power that I need out of the corner. So hopefully we can survive the race, to be honest, in that regard. So hopefully that helps. Also, you never know, people around me could have issues with their car. So let's just see how this all unfolds. But for now, we're just going to crack on with it and see what our pace is like. Oh, safety car. Wow. Perfect timing. That was absolutely perfect. Literally, I said I was depending on a safety car, and I don't know what's happened because nobody's retired. So either way, I'm on pretty much a road commerce fresh super softs, as is Sebastian Vettel. So me and Seb are going to be pretty dangerous in this final end of the Grand Prix. Hamilton's coming to the pit lane and responded, and he's coming in for super softs himself. So interesting strategies here. The question is, can we come out ahead of Lewis Hamilton here? I don't think we are. No, we're not. Okay, so Lewis is going to be ahead of us on fresh supers, as is Sebastian. So let's see how this all plans out. We are going to have to overtake a safety car, so this is going to be a few laps before we're all basically getting ready for the restart. So yeah, let's see how this all basically shapes up now for the restart. Right, there's the issue. I think it's Alonso might have some sort of puncture, so that's the problem. That's what's triggered the safety car, I think. So yeah, we're right back in this now. I did say we needed a miracle because it was looking like a write-off. So I think just like Lewis Hamilton real life, we've got our miracle. So let's get back up to the back of the pack and let's get ready for this restart. Cars are just dropping out the race left, right and centre. Massa and Magnussen have just retired in the space of about 30 seconds. So we're down to just 16 runners, I believe, now. Even though it says 17, I think we're down to 16 now. So cars dropping out of this race all the time here. Right, safety car is in this lap. Everybody's bunching up. We've got a lap car in the form of Marcus Ericsson in the traffic there. Raikkonen leads the way. So we need to try and limitate this damage as much as possible here on this restart. We're already in rich mix. We should have enough to go rich to the end here. So we've got to keep an eye on that. But here we go. Let's get ready for the restart. And it's now green flag. So let's crack on and let's try and make this a very good end to the race. We've got Verstappen, who will be under pressure into turn 1. And we are in rich mix, like I said. So let's see what our straight line speed is like. And look at the speed difference still with my very worn engine. You can see that I'm severely down on power here. But here we go into turn 1 for the first time. Vettel's making the move on Verstappen. We just got to try and time our overtakes to the best of our ability. Also, my tyres are a little bit worn. Not too bad, but they are a little bit worn. So they're not exactly fresh, but still, Vettel's made the move on Verstappen, and now we've got to try and be sneaky about this and try and get the move on, and hopefully Hamilton and Verstappen at the same time. Right, Verstappen and Bottas under pressure here, both of the medium tyre runners who have come unstuck with their tyre strategy now, and myself, Lewis and Vettel all over the back of the pair of them, so they're both going to be struggling here. So maybe a P4 could be on the cards this race if we play our cards right, and like I said, anything else other than that will be a bonus, because Hamilton and Vettel are very quick, and they have much better engine than me. So we just got to try and basically play this one cool. Hamilton still can't go for the move though on Verstappen, which is very interesting. So we're just going to continue on here. We're doing our bit, we're doing our job. We just got to bide our time and strike, literally like a mosquito. So, or should I say like a wasp more like. So let's just try and strike at the right time, and we'll make our moves. Oh, Bottas has run deep here, and it's caused trouble, and we're going to slip up the inside of Lewis, and also slip up the inside of Verstappen, possibly. This is what I was on about. Just got to strike like a bee. Got to be very alert, and there we go. Made the move on Hamilton and Verstappen. Now, can we pick off Valtteri Bottas? Lewis has also gotten past Verstappen here. DRS is not enabled, so we could be in trouble here because Lewis is very fast in a straight line. So we're going to go defensive here to the inside. Lewis, though, committing to the move nonetheless. I'm going to go very deep because I've got the tyres, and there we go. We just go clean around the outside of the British driver at turn 1. But now, could we snatch a podium here out of nowhere? Raikkonen is long gone. Vettel's in P2, so it's a 1-2 for Ferrari. Can we get a Force India on the third step of the podium and make it 7 podiums in a row? I think I've actually lost count, but basically just continue our run of podiums here. So let's push on here. We've still got enough laps to pull it out of the bag, so let's just try and time this to perfection. DRS has enabled this lap, so let's try and get close to Valtteri. Right, out of the final corner, rich mix enabled. DRS wide open here. Should we go for the move on Bottas? I'm a little bit far away, to be honest. I could go for a reckless dive. Will it work? I'm a little bit far back. I wasn't really sure, to be honest, because we still got plenty of laps left to attempt to move on Bottas there, but I thought I was a little bit too far back, and it's too late now to risk a major move here because we've got a lot of points at stake, and if we make one mistake, we're going to finish outside the points. So on that occasion, I'm just sort of keeping myself a little bit more reserved, also because we have no laps left to recover. So we've got to try and make this move very tactically here. Oh, yellow flag up ahead, and it's the Renault of Nico Hülkenberg. Oh, very dodgy there. But Hülkenberg's had a few issues this race, and I think he's a few laps down. So that could have been pretty catastrophic for us. But just struggling to Bottas basically seems to have found a bit of pace here. I think I can still pass him, but I'm going to struggle here. Alright, so Hamilton's struggling to keep up. Another personal best from me, but Bottas has really got the pace here. He's the one who's really switching it on here in the closing embers. Also, I'm about to run out of rich mix, so I don't think I'm going to get third place this race unless Bottas makes a monumental mistake. So I think we're going to have to settle for P4, as I'm actually in the negative, so I've got to save fuel right now. So I think Bottas might just get away with that podium here today, so I've just got to keep Lewis behind me now. Okay, here we go then into the final corner. Raikkonen wins it in Hungary, and Bottas is going to get the third place podium. So we're going to come home for P4. My run of podiums is over, but I'm not too disappointed with that, to be honest, because I don't think we really had the pace around here today. And I think we struggled all weekend long. I think I did the best with what I could in the race, but I felt like the pace really wasn't there this weekend, and I think we lacked a little bit in all areas, I think. So overall, I think the fourth was probably the best we could have done. And disappointing to be so close to third, but still, I think I'll take it. And Raikkonen will gain a few points back in the championship, but that's to be expected, as he's in a bloody Ferrari, and he's won the last 2 championships. So either way, we've had a good race. We've had a good little run, but we need to bounce back stronger in the next race in Spa. And obviously, we do have an upgrade coming for the next one, an engine upgrade and also a reliability one. And I'm hoping to add one more upgrade to that at the end of this episode. So hopefully, we can have a triple upgrade coming for Spa if all works out fine for us. So we'll keep an eye out for that. Oh, sorry, not triple upgrade. We got the engine one for this race. Sorry. So we'll just try and basically add one more upgrade to that after this race. I don't know what it will be, but we'll have a look in a moment. But either way, that is your podium with the 1-2 for Ferrari, and those two back on top here. But overall, that was Hungary. Now going to move into the final race results, drivers and constructor standings to see how things shape up after that very hectic race. Right, so as you can see, looking at the final race results, Kimi Raikkonen wins the Hungarian Grand Prix ahead of Sebastian Vettel for a 1-2 for Ferrari, then Valtteri Bottas in P3 and myself in P4. Lewis Hamilton ahead of Max Verstappen in P5, with Romain Grosjean in a very good P7 ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, who recovers from P14 on the grid, and Sainz and Palmer ran out the points scoring positions. But in terms of the lower half of the table here, a few retirements this race in the form of Ocon, Massa and Kevin Magnussen all retiring from the race, and also Hülkenberg 2 laps down with major issues to his car. But in terms of the driver standings, after that race, we are going to maintain the lead by 17 points over Kimi Räikkönen as we go into the summer break, inverted commas, into Spa. And Vettel's still there, pretty much in the mix there, 33 points behind, so he's still within an outside shot of the World Championship. Also, Lewis Hamilton, you could say, still in the mix, but other than that, in terms of the constructors, you can see that Ferrari do pull away by quite a substantial margin after that race, and that's going to do them a world of good in the constructors to go on and retain for a third year running. But in terms of that, guys, that's going to be it for the Hungarian Grand Prix. We're now going to move into the laptop to purchase a possible upgrade for the next race in Spa. Right, so we have 893 points, and obviously we don't have enough to get an engine upgrade, so we are going to get another reliability one. This time it's going to be the turbocharger, which was the component that I was really struggling with all race today. So we're going to try and make that one basically a little bit better in terms of its overall wear, and hopefully that will help us out in the long run. So we're going to go for that, and that should arrive for Belgium. So other than that, things are looking pretty damn good in terms of the engine wear department, but we are going to get probably the MG UK wear here because we yet to purchase this one. And also maybe the energy store. I mean, the energy store is not that important because it's the part that least wears out of all of them. So I'll probably want to get an MG UK just to get that sorted out, and then we can run Rich Mix, obviously. But other than that, guys, that's going to be all the upgrades for this episode, and hopefully that will set us up nicely for the next race in Spa. But in terms of other things to point out after this race, as you can see here, we have started to use Power Unit 3, which is, you know, starting to get on its last legs a little bit in terms of Power Unit 2, like compared to Power Unit 2. So I'm going to sort of mix and match these components to see what we can use in Spa practice. But I'm probably going to stick with what I've got on the car at the moment. We're switching over the energy store. We're probably going to run that for practice in Spa, unless there's any more way. Okay, we're going to run that for Spa in practice. We might struggle on the straights a little bit, but hopefully that should help us out, and then we can eventually move over to Power Unit 3 for qualifying and the race. And basically, we're just going to try and get the length out and just the life out of Power Units 1 and 2 in the next few practice sessions to really try and get the just try and milk it basically as much as we can. But other than that, guys, that's going to wrap things up for this episode of Career Mode. If you have enjoyed it, then smash the like button. Let's see if we can smack 250 likes. That would be absolutely fantastic. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and also check out the videos on the screen right now if you have missed them, and also check out GTM Mega and the links down below in the description. And if you use the code TOM97, you get a cheeky 5% discount at checkout. Other than that, guys, I thank you ever so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video very soon. Goodbye.